What's going on, Central Unit? Is the Central Man here. So back again with another classic WWE pay-per-view review. Originally I should have uploaded this video on Halloween. Unfortunately there was like a windy storm near mine, and there was a massive tree near mine, and the tree completely blown away and crashed the telephone line near mine, and also wiped out the Wi-Fi near mine. So I can't access the Wi-Fi, and also cannot upload the review on Halloween. So anyway, it's sorted now, the Wi-Fi is fixed. Anyway, so I'm going to review WWE No Mercy 2008 at the Rose Garden. Right now it's called the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon, on the 5th of October 2008. The attendance for the show was 9,527. The buy rate for No Mercy of 08 is a 261,000 pay-per-view buys. A massive decrease than the previous year's No Mercy event, because that show got about 271,000 pay-per-view buys. This is the final No Mercy in the original brand split. They brought it back in 2016 in the brand split 2.0, and they got rid of it a year later, and I hope they bring it back in the near future. Anyway, so the commentators for the show on Raw, you got Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler. And also at the same time, Jerry the King Lawler is filling in for Matt Striker in the ECW announce table alongside Todd Grayson. And on the SmackDown side, in the commentators for SmackDown at the time was Jim Ross and Taz. Anyway, the first match to kick off No Mercy of 08, we got the ECW Championship match. We've got Matt Hardy defending the belt against Mark Henry. Matt Hardy won the title at the previous month's pay-per-view in that ECW Championship Scramble match. The match was decent. It's typical big guy versus medium-sized guy. Matt Hardy, with the pace and agility. Mark Henry with the strength, because he's the world's strongest man. The little bulks of the match, you had Matt Hardy working on the leg of Mark Henry. Matt Hardy hit the Twist of Fate onto Mark Henry. Mark Henry kicked out. In the end, Henry was going for like the world's strongest slam. Hardy hit really the knee of Mark Henry, hit the Twist of Fate again to win this match and retain the ECW title. Yeah, like I say, it was an okay good match to kick off the show. Mark Henry never challenged for the world title ever again until 2011. Another story for another time. Matt Hardy, he had some filler rivalry over the rest of 2008. With Evan Bourne at Cyber Sunday. I don't know, for November. I think he was part of a Survivor Series team in November. And I think he dropped the title to Jack Swagger I think it was on an episode of ECW in January of 09. I might be wrong about it, but anyway. Moving on to match number 2. Match number 2, we got Beth Phoenix defending the Women's Championship against Candice Michelle. A year ago, Beth won the title from Candice on that same show. Then weeks later, they had the 2 out of 3 pinfall match. The same match, Candice Michelle suffered a shoulder injury that put her out for 14 weeks because Beth Phoenix kind of crashed the really wobbles the ropes, and Candice lost her balance and injured her shoulder. She came back in February of 08, but re-injured her shoulder again in a match with, it's her and Maria taking on Jillian Hall and Victoria. She came back in the September of that year. This is her first match back in the company. This match was okay. Candice Michelle, she was okay. She's not great, but okay. At the time, Beth was in this kayfabe relationship with Santino Marella. They formed Glamorella. I don't know, is it a spin to, Eddie Guerrero, China, the Mamacita thing? I don't know. I'll probably do a comparison video in the near future. Anyway, the whole bulks of the match, you had Beth working on the arm and the shoulder of Candice Michelle. Candice has some offense of her own. You had Santino Marella kind of helped Beth cheat, like one more of the match. Candice was going for the pin. Santino, so I'm going to say Santina, but Santino kind of pulled Beth out of the ring. At the same time, he nearly cost Beth the match. Candice was going for like I think it was a roll-up, but Beth kicked out. In the end, Candice was going for like a kill switch, but instead, Beth hit the Glam Slam onto Candice Michelle to win this match and retain the Women's Championship. I think she wins her final Women's belt the following year in 2009, I think, before she got released. Anyway, I like Glamorella because it was a funny relationship between Santino Marella and Beth Phoenix, because Beth is the muscle, Santino at this time. He was a heel, but he's doing the comic relief thing. He became a babyface 1 year later, when he's doing the whole Santino Marella thing. That's another story at another time, don't want to get into it. The next match, we got Rey Mysterio versus Kane. This is a filler rivalry because Kane turned heel in the summer of 2008, attacked the Raw announced team of Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler. He's doing the whole is he alive or dead storyline. That was fucking shit. It was basically a heel turn, a sake of a heel turn. The weeks, Kane was carrying like this sack, a burlap sack, and fans speculate that could be Kane's old mask. Kane, the rumors like Kane's going to putting on the mask back on again. Unfortunately, you're not going to see that until 2011. Unfortunately, he was holding Rey Mysterio's red mask. Anyway, so I don't want to get into it. It's just I don't understand why they did it. They're doing this teasing like Kane's gonna remove the mask of Rey Mysterio. I don't want to get into it. WCW did it in the late 90s, kind of flopped. That's another story for another time as well. Anyway, the match was, I think it was a good match, to be honest. It was a good match, typical big versus small match. In the end, Rey was going for a move off the top rope and outside the ring, but Kane smacked him with the chair. That caused the DQ. That was a bomber, and it set up the next match pay-per-view at Cyber Sunday. I think that led up to a no disqualification match as well. They kind of dragged the feud throughout October and going into November. Why they did that? Because it's a filler feud. Like I said, because there's no way WWE is gonna allow Rey Mysterio to take off the mask again. They're not doing the same thing what WCW did. But at the same time, this rivalry and Kane is not putting the mask on it anytime soon until 2011. So, yeah, like I say, it's just a filler feud because at the time Kane and Rey Mysterio were not doing anything at the time. Anyway, so the next match, match number 4, I think. Oh yeah, match number 4. We got Batista versus JBL. Winner gets a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. Before that, you got this crappy segment with MVP, Randy Orton, Rose DiBiase. I don't know why they did that on a pay-per-view, because sometimes segments and pay-per-views never worked. It felt like you probably see it on Raw, SmackDown, ECW. It led to a brawl between Rose DiBiase, Manu, MVP, CM Punk, and Kofi Kingston. Anyway, back to the next match. Yeah, Batista versus JBL. Winner gets a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. Match sucked. It was basically punch, 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 kick type of match. It was a short match, but not a good match. Batista and JBL never had great matches. JBL and John Cena had better matches than JBL and Batista matches. It's just what it is. I don't want to get into it in details. Anyway, Batista got the victory, hit JBL with 2 spears, hit the Batista bomb onto JBL, win this match, and Batista has a shot at the World Heavyweight Champion. I'll get to the main event later on. And yeah, this is probably see it on Monday Night Raw, not on your pay-per-view that you're spending a lot of money. I think it was added to the last minute. I think they should have really dropped this match off the card. And afterwards, you got JBL cut a promo, basically brag about being wealthy, because at the same time the stock market crash in America. This was a month before Obama was elected to become president of the United States. bragged about his wealth, said, "I'm glad I got the Congress bailed him out. He kept his penthouse in New York." The funny part, he had Crying Time, crashed JBL's limo, and also he had the Divas, partying around inside JBL's limo, and also with Sergeant Slaughter. That was funny. Anyway, moving on to that's match number 4. Match number 5, we got The Undertaker versus Big Show. The previous month at No Mercy, Big Show turned heel after he tapped The Undertaker with the knockout punch. I think it was the first time he'd do it. Yeah, Big Show is now part of La Familia. There's basically Vicky Guerrero's faction with Edge, Chavo Guerrero, the Edgeheads, and Bam Neely. Anyway, the match was okay. I think it was an okay match between Big Show and The Undertaker. It was okay for what it is. In the end, Big Show slammed Taker into the exposed turnbuckle and hit not one, not two, but 3 knockout punch. It later on became the WMD, the Weapon of Mass Destruction, and Big Show won this match via TKO because Undertaker did not reply. I don't know why they did it. This is a wrestling match, not a boxing match. Anyway, Big Show won this match, and they kind of dragged this rivalry into December because a few weeks later they had the Last Man Standing match at Cyber Sunday, and then at Survivor Series they had the casket match, and then on the December episode of SmackDown they had the Steel Cage match. I think at the time they were not doing anything, and then in 2009 they appeared in the Rumble match, the Chambers match, and then they had two separate matches at WrestleMania, Taker with Shawn Michaels, and they're in the and Big Show in the triple threat match with Cena and Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship. Anyway, moving on to match number 6. I think it was match number 6. Yeah, match number 6. We got Triple H defending the WWE Championship against Jeff Hardy. They really strapped the rocket onto Jeff Hardy's back because they're doing all this grabbing the brass ring. That is the buzzwords full at the time. Grabbing the brass rings. They're hyping like Jeff Hardy's the Nearly Man. He's the bridesmaid, never the bride. Triple H and Jeff Hardy had some history because going back into 2001, they had a rivalry between Hardys versus Triple H and Austin, the 2-man power trip. Most famously, Jeff Hardy had an upset win over Triple H on a SmackDown to win the IC title, and then they had a match at Armageddon in 2007 to get a shot at the WWE Championship. Anyway, they also had a good performance at the Championship Scramble match at the previous month's pay-per-view at Unforgiven, the final Unforgiven in WWE history. So it's a typical Triple H is built really putting over Jeff Hardy. It's like, you're gonna get it next time, little brother. That type of scenario. They're both the baby faces at the time. Anyway, the match was awesome. It was back and forth. The fans got behind Jeff Hardy. The fans also got behind Triple H too. Jeff Hardy did like trying to do some high fly spots. Like I think he hit like a plancha onto Triple H. This is like minutes in the match. He did it for the first time. Triple H got out of the way. And some attempts, Jeff Hardy was going for the twist of fate. Triple H countered it. I think at one moment Triple H hit the spine buster. And Jeff Hardy countered the pedigree attempts by Triple H. In the end, Jeff Hardy managed to hit the twist of fate onto Triple H. He hit the swanton bomb onto Triple H. I thought like Jeff Hardy's going to win it, but instead Triple H countered into a crucifix pin to win this match and retain the WWE Championship. They'll drag this rivalry into the rest of 08. They had the rematch at Cyber Sunday. Survivor Series. You had the reign of Jeff Hardy in a kayfabe injury. Edge won the title on the same night. Then at the final Armageddon pay-per-view, Jeff Hardy managed to grab the brass ring, winning the championship in a triple threat match against Edge and Triple H. Anyway, moving on to the main event, we got Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels in a ladder match for the World Heavyweight Championship. So they had a rivalry. One of the biggest rivalries of the year was Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho. because Jericho turned heel. He slammed Michaels' face in the Jericho 5000. They had a match at the final Great American Bash pay-per-view when Jericho got the victory when he bust over Shawn Michaels' eye. Then he had really a kayfabe retirement segment on SummerSlam that led to, Jericho accidentally hit Shawn Michaels' wife Rebecca in the face. It set up the non-centered street fight at Unforgiven that Michaels got his win back, and at the same time, Jericho did double duty. He won the World Heavyweight Championship in the Raw Championship Scramble match, and this has set up the really the blow off to this rivalry. This was fantastic. I think this is Shawn Michaels' first ladder match for almost 6 years, because the last time he appeared in a ladder match was, I think it was part of the 3 Stages of Hell match between him and Triple H at Armageddon of 2002. Jericho, the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 24 early that year. This was good. It's not like the ladder match you see in modern day WWE and also in NXT. It's a bona fide spot fest. No disrespect. It's just a spot fest, no storytelling and psychology. This has some storytelling and psychology. I felt like one more of the match, Jericho lost a tooth. He's bled in the mouth. There's one more of the match. They were going for like a spot. One's going to go through the SmackDown announce table. I think it was Michaels went through the SmackDown announce table. I think Jericho hit like a back belly suplex off the ladder into the SmackDown announce table. There was one scary spot. Jericho pinned Michaels underneath the ladder, going to grab the title. Michaels kind of bench pressed Jericho off the ladder, and Jericho landed on his knee outside of the ring. I thought he's really blow out his knee. He didn't, thank God. Lance K got involved. He was basically Jericho's lackey, his underling. He ate a switch in music by Shawn Michaels. In the end, they were playing tug of war with the title belt. Jericho grabbed one hand and Michaels grabbed the other end. Playing tug of war. I guess like Jericho headbutt Michaels off the ladder, and Jericho won this match and retained the World Heavyweight Championship. It was a fucking good match. Told a good story. And Jericho said in his interviews that this is his best match of his career. Like I said, this is the best rivalry of 2008 between Michaels and Jericho. Because they carried the Raw brand. And really, Jericho's the best. Really, he was the superstar of the year of 2008. His character was getting over. It's based on the movie called, was it No Country for Old Men? It's based on, Javier Bardem's character of that movie. Anyway, this is not the blow-off match I'm trying to say. It was the blow-off match, but it wasn't. But they had one more match on a Raw. I think it was in Manchester. This was a last man standing match. Jericho basically won the rivalry. He won the first match of the renewed rivalry at the Great American Bash pay-per-view. And then he ended the rivalry, won the last match of the rivalry on a Raw in November. And after that, they went their separate ways. Michaels was in this storyline with JBL. Weeks later, after No Mercy, Jericho lost the World Heavyweight Championship to Batista at Cyber Sunday with Steve Austin as the special guest referee. Jericho regained the world title back on the, I think it was on the 800th episode of Raw. And I think at the same time, Batista got fined because he bled. Because at the time they banned blood. That was a big no-no at the time. And then afterwards, Jericho lost the world title again to John Cena at No Mercy. No Mercy. Survivor Series, the following month's pay-per-view. That's another story for another time. Anyway, so my final rating for the final No Mercy of the original brand split, No Mercy 2008, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I was bounced around between 8s or 7s, but I think I'll give it 8. I think it was a really good show. It started out well and ended well. With the match of the night has to be, Jericho versus Michaels in a ladder match. Other matches were good, like Triple H and Jeff Hardy for the WWE Championship. Matt Hardy, Mark Henry for the ECW Championship was decent. Mysterio and Kane was a decent match, but instead of that DQ finisher was a downer. I think there was 3 good matches. The okay matches were okay, like Beth Phoenix versus Candice Michelle for the Women's Championship. Undertaker versus Big Show was okay. Typical Big Show fail, flop, heel turn. Of course, Taker won the next 3 matches. It was okay, just make Big Show like a monster. And the only match on the bad has to be, just JP and Batista, because I had no business on the pay-per-view. It was basically added to the last minute. And that segment between MVP, Randy Orton, Rose DiBiase, Manu, it's just filler, killing time on the pay-per-view. So, hope you enjoy my review of WWE No Mercy 2008. Hope you like it. Leave your thoughts on the comments section below. Smash the like button and subscribe to the Central 9 Network on YouTube. Next time, we're in Survivor Series month, so I'm going to review a classic Survivor Series pay-per-view. Let's review the very first Survivor Series. I'm talking about Survivor Series 1987. This is Essential Man officially signing out. WWE No Mercy 08 is a 2 thumbs up show.